Good morning and welcome everyone to our next webinar in the series. And we're talking about selling on Instagram today. And my name is Ben Frisch, the Digital Service Squad team lead here in South Georgian Bay. And I'm joined by our fellow team member and presenter today, Rochelle Reynolds. Good morning, Rochelle. And yeah, we're excited to take you through this really thorough, in-depth look at how to sell on Instagram, a very popular platform. And first thing I want to get out of the way, of course, is that just to mention here in South Georgian Bay, the Digital Main Street program, which is what has brought us here today, is managed by the Small Business Enterprise Center, the South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center. And we've also received additional help and support. Aside from those logos you saw at the beginning, we've also been grateful to receive support from the County of Simcoe, the town of Collingwood, and the town of the Blue Mountains. And so we're very grateful for their support in keeping this program going, keeping these supports alive. And just a reminder as well that we always got to pitch the Digital Main Street program. But there's a grant available currently. The deadline to apply is November 30th. So if you want to learn more about that, get in touch with your digital service squad. We'll have a link at the end to book a consult. And you can get one-on-one supports with things just like this, like selling on Instagram, how to get things set up. And we can help walk you through whatever you're having difficulty with in terms of your digital marketing. So with that out of the way, I'm going to hand over to Rochelle. And just a reminder too, we've got the chat box, the Q&A open. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in and we'll answer them as we go. So all that being said, here is Rochelle to take us through our presentation today.
Hello, thank you, Ben. Yes, welcome everybody. Yes, diving into yet another wonderful odyssey in the world of social media and how to make it work for your business. So Instagram, I am going to take a wild guess and assume that everybody on this call or everybody tuning in after the fact has at least heard of Instagram. And I would also hedge my best that you're probably already on it and would like to leverage it more. But regardless of where you are in sort of your Instagram journey, suffice it to say, it's really not going anywhere, at least for a long time. It's an incredibly popular platform and it continues to be shaped and driven towards appealing to business owners and becoming a viable sales channel and sales tool more so than just kind of your standard social app. So that's the direction it's going in. It's only going to continue migrating that way. So to be an early adopter, or at this stage is sort of I guess like a mid-grade adopter, you're still in a great position to be on that curve and keep up with that trend. So I have a couple stats here. So regardless of what your target audience is, there are more and more people who are using this app for their daily shopping needs, not like grocery store needs necessarily, but for their goods, for the things that people are looking to buy. Instagram is a place where they're doing their research and ultimately following through on their purchases. Specifically, like 60% of Gen Z is using Instagram for shopping, like specifically, and 48% of millennials are either already have been using it or are starting to now. Today we are going over a few different things. We're going to go over how to create your Instagram shop, how to make different posts shoppable, and if you kind of fall within the cracks, like if you're a bit of a what if situation, we're going to talk about some workarounds for that. So if you don't have a website, et cetera, we will get there. So yeah, useful workarounds and alternative practices. And then finally, we're going to touch on Instagram for service-based businesses, because yes, it is a bit of a different game that you're playing if you're service-based versus product-based. Okay. Alrighty, so provided that you are a product-based industry and you want to open an Instagram shop. So essentially you want to be able to have a catalog that is attached to your Instagram page, and you want people to be able to open said catalog and place orders with you from the Instagram app. This is what you need to achieve that. So you must have your Instagram account set to either business or creator, so one of the professional accounts. If you just have it as a personal account, you're not going to have Instagram shopping as an option. You must have an e-commerce website. Sometimes people are a bit confused by that. They think that they can open a product catalog or start selling products, and they just sort of have like goods in their home that are not available for sale anywhere else online. That's not the case. You need to have some kind of e-commerce account to make this happen, and you must have a Facebook business page. Well, I guess Meta business page. I don't even know. I don't even know now, but Meta still owns both Facebook and Instagram, and you cannot have an Instagram shop without having that Facebook business page connected. I have a really easy tutorial right there, so you can follow that link after the fact, or you can copy and paste it and visit it after. That would be what I recommend doing, because without these three things, it's not going to happen for you. Okay.
Yeah, and I would add too that what we've seen is a lot of times that connection. So your Facebook and Instagram accounts need to be connected, and sometimes that connection can really get messed up. Like, and even in this process, it can kind of get messed up a little bit. But I think the most important thing is like, if you're having trouble to connect them, you can try coming at it from different angles. So you can connect them via your Facebook page, you can connect them via your Instagram account on your phone. Sometimes Facebook or Meta, as you say, is finicky. These different tools don't always talk to each other in the way they're supposed to. So you got to just kind of try a few different options. Oh, and actually, I found this really unique, and this is way a little off topic, but there's a whole other connection platform within Instagram that was a whole new discovery for me recently that can also help. Just as a side note there.
Cool. Also, one thing I did forget to mention on that last one. So if your e-commerce platform is through something like one of the major sort of e-commerce players, it's actually really easy to pull your catalog over there too. So a lot of times people kind of get convinced that they need to do the manual setup for their catalog, and you really don't. Like I'm on the page right now, and if you are working with Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, or WooCommerce, those programs are really well integrated, so you have kind of an advantage to the setup there. There's still a lot of front loading. Like there's really no way around that. Like in order to make this work properly, it does take time, and you do need to make sure that you've taken all the right steps and not kind of like shortcut your way through it. But if you're working with one of those e-commerce platforms that I mentioned, it does become a little bit easier because those platforms are already working with Instagram quite well. Okay, so now we are taking it at face value that your shop is up and running. So you have your Instagram shop live, all your products are listed in there, your categories are correct, everything is working well. Yay! So now you want to start being able to advertise right in the Instagram app. I'm sure people have come across these shoppable feed posts. That was kind of the first break into the e-commerce world for Instagram, and it's quite easy to do this. So you don't need to set up anything special like to be able to make your post shoppable. Basically, once your shop is live and your catalog is uploaded and all your products are in there, you just create a post as you normally would. When you get to the window where you write your caption and everything, you're going to see a new option present itself. So there's like the things like tag a location, tag people, all that sort of stuff. And if you have available products, then tag products will become one of the available options. Then you simply click on whatever you want to tag, your catalog will come up, and you select what what product you want linked on the post, and then you just post it, and there you go. And is really that simple. So that's really great. A lot of times people think, oh, I need to have some sort of special account to be able to tag my products and everything. Nope, it is absolutely a free and easy service, provided that you have your Instagram shop up and running properly.
I just want to mention too on that, further plug, 2 weeks ago, we did our Facebook selling on Facebook, where we did actually go a little bit more in depth into that setup as well. So if you have questions about that, try checking that out. And again, you can always book a consult with the digital service.
Alrighty, now I cannot talk about shoppable posts without talking about Instagram checkout. So Instagram checkout is a newer feature that Instagram launched back in, I believe they started rolling it out in 2019, but it really sort of like became a thing in 2020. Instagram checkout is different from shoppable posts. So if you have Instagram checkout enabled, then basically that means that people are buying directly in the Instagram app, as opposed to shoppable feed posts where your products are listed, but when you click on said product, then you are redirected to the business's e-commerce site. Instagram checkout means that people are not leaving the app. Now, I mention that because a lot of times people are like, well, that's what I want to get set up. Well, first of all, if you're in Canada, it's not available yet. I believe it's still on track to be rolled out here, but it is not available as of yet. Or if it is, it's for like very, very select, like big, like huge retail or e-commerce platforms and whatnot. One thing that I'll say is like, if and when Instagram checkout does become available for you, and you sort of get that prompt that like, hey, you're eligible for Instagram checkout, one thing to keep in mind is, yes, like it is wonderful to be able to keep users on one page and not have people constantly redirected to different sites, and then they have to go back to Instagram, and it just becomes kind of a more frustrating buyer experience. But you're going to lose all of those metrics. So Instagram basically takes all of that customer data, because the people are now checking out through that app versus with you. And it's almost like the business kind of becomes like almost a third party sort of situation, right? So that's the one sort of drawback to Instagram checkout. And I hadn't even thought of that. Like when I heard of Instagram checkout, I was like, oh wow, that's just like a fabulous solution. That there are no downsides to that. But then one person that I was just sort of like listening to and watching a webinar from, they explained that like, oh well, that's sort of the hit that you take, is you lose that customer data. And that's kind of a big deal, right? Especially if you are a small to medium sized business where your customer base really is valuable to you, and you want to capture all those people and be able to stay in contact with them. It's one major drawback to this particular feature. Anyway, all that is to say, again, it's not really relevant if you're a Canadian merchant anyway, but just something to keep in mind as the program continues to be rolled out. Okay, shoppable stories. So this is kind of the big thing that lots of people get upset about. So shoppable stories are a wonderful thing. Basically, if you've come across a shoppable story, then generally you're watching a story and there's that big swipe up feature. And when you swipe up, then that takes you right to the product that is being advertised in said story. So it's a really wonderful way to capture sales, particularly like impulse buys, right? Like if you're doing, if your story is all about how great your latest product is, and all people need to do is swipe up and then they can buy it right there, that's pretty sensational. However, there is a catch with it. So not only must you have that Instagram shop enabled, but you need to have at least 10,000 followers. If you don't have 10,000 followers, then you do not have the swipe up option, unless you get a little crafty. So that falls into the category of the what ifs that I mentioned earlier. So we will get to that. There is a way to make your stories shoppable, even if you don't have 10K followers. Shoppable IGTV. This was a discovery for me. I didn't know that this was a thing heading into this webinar. That I was super impressed by this. So two ways that you can make your IGTV videos shoppable. One, you can tag all your products in your captions and everything. So that's kind of one way to do it. But the other way is you can tag your products right in your video. So again, you need to have that Instagram shop. There's a special thing that you need to enable. So you need to enable IGTV shopping. And that will be a prompt that comes up if you have your Instagram shop up and running. And then if you're creating an IGTV video, basically that's when you'll get that prompt. And then you have an option to tag your products right in your videos, which is really, really great. If you don't, so this is kind of one of those other workarounds that I mentioned. So if you want to use IGTV to sell products, but you don't have an Instagram shop enabled because you don't have an e-commerce website or whatever the reason is, then you can still take advantage of using those captions. You're just not so much tagging products. It's more that you have to like post links and whatnot. Like there's just a slightly different way to do it. But suffice it to say, IGTV is also a shoppable feature within Instagram now. And I think that's a really great thing. As a reminder, IGTV is where you can post your long form videos on Instagram. So anything that's 1 minute to 1 hour long is classified as an IGTV video. It can be, yes. And then shoppable reels. So reels are, of course, one of the newer, I guess it is the newest feature of Instagram, and it's the direct competitor to TikTok. We've been over that before. What's really great is that reels are shoppable now as well. So it works the exact same way as IGTV. So basically you create your reel. If you have Instagram shopping enabled, then as you're sort of like going through the stages of posting your reel, at some point you're going to have an option to tag your product, and then you can just pull right from your catalog and stick it right in the reel. That is pretty incredible. Reels get a ton of attention. I don't use reels myself. Like I really haven't experimented with them that much, but I do use them for another account, and like they rack up thousands of views. Like it's pretty incredible. Not every reel is going to be a viral sensation. Not every reel is going to, just take off and transform your business. But for the ones that do, if you have products available and it's performing really well, there's a really good chance that there are going to be a lot of people who have eyes on your products and who will take you up on buying them right in the app if you're offering that. So great thing to keep in mind. Okie dokie. So now we get to the what if section. So this is kind of what I see here at the Digital Service Squad all the time is people come to us and they're all gung-ho. They can't wait to get going with their Instagram shopping, and then we dive into it and it's like, oh, okay, so you don't have an e-commerce website, you don't have a Facebook page, you don't have 10,000 followers. Well, suddenly this becomes a little more difficult because people want to be able to just open that Instagram shop and have that catalog listed, and they don't understand what is actually required to make that happen. But the thing is, because Instagram has become such an effective sales tool for so many businesses, you can work around all these things. You can still sell successfully on Instagram, even if you don't have Instagram shop enabled because you don't have an e-commerce website, even if you don't have Instagram shop enabled because you don't have a Facebook page. There is a way to make that happen. So we're going to work through the most common ones that I see. Okie dokie. So if you do not have an e-commerce website, or you don't have a Facebook page, so therefore you cannot open that Instagram shop, you can use Instagram in the following ways. You can leverage your bio. So take advantage of tools like Linktree. Linktree is where you can list multiple URLs. So up to 5 at least. And then there are options to list even more. And if you put that Linktree link in your bio and have your call to action be, for product or to see our products or to shop our products, whatever you want it to be, click the link below. And if the user clicks on that Linktree link, they're going to be presented with all the different options. So all those different URLs that you've presented. So you can have like your home page, you can have your product page, you can have a specific product. Like if there's something that you're really pushing hard, it can have its own dedicated URL. There are ways to still be able to tell people, you can buy stuff from me. This is where you go. If you don't have a way to do that, so again, like maybe, well, Linktree doesn't work for you because you just sort of have your homepage, but you still don't have a way for people to buy from you, then that's fine. You can have a more old school call to action there. So it can be for orders, call whoever, or to buy your product or to shop with us, send us a DM or something like that. You can sort of make that bio work for you as you need it to. You can add an action button. So this is great as well. I talk about the action buttons a little bit later when we get to the service stuff. But essentially, if you go to, on your homepage, if you go to edit profile, you will see action buttons, and generally it'll say none active. If you want to activate an action button, the three options that they have available right now are order food, book now, and reserve. The thing about the action buttons is they are all linked to other sort of third-party apps. So for example, if I click on book now, it says choose the website you want to connect to your Instagram business profile. So you need to have something like some kind of booking app or some kind of reservation app or something that can be connected to your account. So like Acuity, Appointments for Square, Appointee, Booksy, GenBook, Gloss Genius, all these sorts of things. What's one of the big ones? Timely is a big one and whatnot. So anyway, that's how that works, but it's a great way to, again, just give people a really clear call to action without it necessarily being, look at my shop that I have up and on the go right now. Use your stories and highlights. So if none of those things apply, like if you don't have any links to drive people to in your bio, if you don't work with one of those apps, so you can't really take advantage of the action button at this time, people are using stories and highlights to sell their products all the time. So if you create a story and maybe you have like limited inventory that you're really trying to move, then incentivize that, right? Like you can tell people right on your story, hey, we've got 5 of these sweaters left. I want to see them go by the end of the day. They're on special super sale. How you can buy them is send me a direct message to reserve your size or your color or something. That sort of strategy works. Same thing with highlights. So highlights are of course stories that you've saved, so they don't disappear after 24 hours and they live on your homepage there. So you can have a whole highlight reel devoted to your product and what you have on the go. Those should be products that you have in stock regularly, because of course it's a highlight, so that implies that like it's something that you have available all the time, not just for a limited time. But same thing, if you're advertising your kind of like staple products, just ensure that you tell people right in that highlight what they need to do in order to buy that from you. Direct messaging marketing. This is a really popular strategy that people use at any stage of their business, really. And it's simply asking people to get in contact with you, or even better, every time you get a new follower, you can set up like an automated message that basically says like, hey, thanks for following my account. Would love to connect or like take a look at our products by, I don't know, checking out my page or whatever it happens to be, right? Like some sort of welcome message that gives customers that hook to check you out a little bit further and investigate a little bit more. And then if they're interested, they can then reply via that direct message and let you know what they're interested in or what they'd like more information about. The other thing about direct messaging marketing, there is a way to set up basically turn your DMs into like a chatbot service where there are essentially like preset replies and preset prompts that you can be giving people so you can more or less fully automate that conversation. I mean, obviously it does require manual oversight. Like you need to know what people are asking and what products people are interested in, but there is a way to sort of like expedite that or make that a little, I guess like off offset the heavy lifting so that you're not constantly monitoring your DMs manually. That requires a little bit more setup, but there are plenty of tutorials on that. Like once you get going with it, it's pretty simple that way. So definitely something to look into, especially if DM marketing is a huge part of your selling strategy. Any way that you can automate that and make it easier for yourself is going to be super helpful. And then finally, you can create paid promotions. So you can boost your posts or create longer sort of ad campaigns without a Facebook, without a Facebook page, without what's it called, an e-commerce website. You can kind of create your own promotions as you go. You just need to make sure that you're that you set up your Instagram for payments and whatnot, and that's a fairly simple process that you do in your settings. So that's a great way to do it as well. Again, if you're really kind of looking to move some product, or you have a new line coming out and you really want to get attention on it, but you don't kind of have that Instagram shop to fall back on, this is a great way to make that happen as well. Okay, so now the crafty workaround, for less than 10,000 followers, you can still take advantage of shoppable stories and all that sort of stuff. It just requires a little bit of, I guess, ingenuity on your part. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to create an IGTV video. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be complicated. Remember, IGTV videos do need to be at least 60 seconds long. So excuse me, at least a minute long video, but you don't have to worry about like putting this whole documentary together or anything like that. Tag your product in your video, or add the link that you want people to visit in the video caption. So basically that means is that when you create your IGTV video, you can either take those products right in the video, which we've already been over. If that's not an option for you because you don't have Instagram shopping enabled or whatever, you need to give people their call to action. So where you want them to go to buy your stuff in that caption. So rather than writing a whole story about like, yeah, this is my Instagram video, or this is my IGTV video, and we're talking about this, this, and this, keep it really simple. Just paste the link, the URL to wherever you want people to go right in that caption. And you can make the title of the video, click this link. And then it's really easy. People know exactly what you want them to do. Save your IGTV video. Then go and start a story. Along the top bar of your story screen, there's that link icon. Click on that. It's going to give you an option to select your IGTV video or like an IGTV video. Pick the one that you want to link and make that the link destination. So then your story is basically going to be that like IGTV video preview. And then you can add a call to action sticker saying, swipe up to watch the rest of my video, or just swipe up. Then you have swipe up enabled. So the only difference is essentially if you have the 10,000 followers, then swiping up leads you right to that product page or that checkout page for that specific product. With this workaround, the swipe up is going to take you to that IGTV video. And what's in the IGTV video? Those tagged products, or that caption with the link telling people what you want them to do in it. So that's the workaround on that. And there's a tutorial there. And I must say that the person who did this tutorial has a wonderful, wonderful personality. I really enjoyed his video. At one point, he goes, wow, 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 when this workaround works, and it brings so much joy. And you will be saying, wow, 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 when you have swipe up enabled without 10,000 followers. So definitely check it out. It's very fun. All right. And we can move to the next slide.
Oh, sorry, there was a question here. Joanne asks, what type of account do we need on Insta to get these options with over 10,000? Sorry if I missed the answer. I believe it should, if you have over 10,000 followers, you would have that swipe up functionality enabled, right?
Yeah, and actually it doesn't matter. So if you have over 10,000 followers, that the swipe up option is enabled regardless of whether you have a professional account or a personal account. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
the only thing is, of course, you can only open an Instagram shop if you have a professional account. So yeah, that's sort of it. And that's because like basically if you're a hardcore Instagram influencer, but you're just using it personally, like you're not you haven't classified yourself as a creator, then Instagram still wants you to be able to have that swipe up feature to essentially help other businesses, or just to like, you know, if you have like a travel blog or something, you can be swiping up to your own travel blog, and it doesn't always have to be e-commerce related. But yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. She says she can no longer add links. Keep having to switch between creative and business to get the options. I'm not sure why they would be doing that.
No longer add links. I have to keep switching between creative and business to get the options. I don't know. It like to me that sounds like it's hard to tell. Like unless I'm in your account, it's hard to sort of know what's on the go there. It, like, is it possible that maybe you only have certain products, or you only have like Instagram shopping enabled on one or not the other? Like I don't know. It could just be that like maybe there's something that's a little bit disconnected in the business version versus the creator version. I don't know. That's different.
Yeah, might be worth yeah, booking a call. There you go. She just dropped it in the chat. That sounds like a great idea. Cool.
Okay. And so now the big one. So I sympathize with service-based businesses a lot because I am also a service-based business, and you do feel kind of like you're left out of the party a little bit sometimes when you see all of these amazing options coming out for products, but then like very little that's also being done to help service-based businesses. So this is what we can do together. Number one, add your booking link to your bio, of course, or again, if you don't have like a booking link, if you're not taking online reservations, or that's just not an option for you, then some kind of clear call to action for people. So, you know, to book a treatment, call this number. To reserve your tickets, DM us today. Whatever you happen to be, like that bio becomes your lifeline that way. And further to that, in all of your posts, make sure that you're reinforcing that message, right? So if you are, I don't know, selling tickets to a gallery opening or something, but it's all manual. Like it's basically just like, you know, you call somebody up and say, I want 2 tickets to the gallery opening. And that's the system that you've got on the go. That's all great. Make sure that's clearly listed in your bio. And then in every post, in every story, in every IGTV, in every reel, anything that's related to that gallery opening, make sure you're reinforcing that message by saying, for tickets, visit the link in our bio, or for tickets, call whatever. That's how you can sort of like, make sure that you're at least getting people moving in the right direction. People will listen to you. They if they're interested in what you have on the go, they will follow the instructions that you give them. Where accounts fall short is they forget to give those instructions. Add the book now button to your profile. We've already been over that. Again, you do need to have an online reservation system enabled, and it does need to be one of the options that Instagram has partnered with, but they have a lot of them. So again, the options that they have available for that, I'm just bringing it up. The 3 options that they have are order food, book now, and reserve. And they have a lot of different options. I just went into the reserve one, and like there's table requests, there's resi, like yeah, there are lots of options available there. Create a paid promotion with Book Now as the CTA. So if you aren't able to, like if you don't have that online booking feature enabled, or maybe you're not working with one of the partners that Instagram has to be able to create that Book Now button, you can still create a paid promotion and set Book Now as your call to action, so that as the promotion runs on all of those posts, there's going to be that Book Now banner that appears. And then when people click on the Book Now banner, it'll be taken wherever you send them, right? So it might be to your website. It has to be some kind of online destination. Like that's the sort of catch with that. Like you can't have the Book Now button, then go to just a message that says call this number. Like the Book Now button has to link to some kind of URL. But that's a really great way to capture those sales and also just like run a successful Instagram campaign, right? Like that's a great campaign to run is a paid promotion with Book Now as the CTA. Great idea. And use the same swipe up hack that we covered earlier. So this applies for both services and products, right? If you're a therapist or something and you create a short IGTV video talking about like the fact that the weather is changing, that can be really hard on everybody. And hey, you have a solution. Like if somebody needs somebody to talk to about it or whatever it happens to be, swipe up here and click on this link and it's going to take you to my online booking page. That's a really great way to use it for a service-based business. And then again, don't forget about the direct messaging marketing. So I have already touted the benefits of that, but it's absolutely applicable to service-based businesses. In fact, I can personally attest to that. I know that when I do have event tickets that I'm selling and all that sort of stuff, I'm constantly getting messages either on Facebook or Instagram of people just saying like, hey, I hear you've got a show on tonight. I'd love 2 tickets if you have them. Like that's a really great way to close some sales. Again, it's really good to, if that's like a hardcore part of your business, like if you kind of rely on that direct messaging marketing or that direct messaging feature or whatnot, then that's where getting into the automation and getting those preset answers and all that on the go can be very helpful. But if it's not, like if it's something that you can manage manually, then that's great. Just make sure that you are on top of it and checking your messages so that you're not missing anything. All right, and I believe, yeah, that's it. That we have come to the end of it. So yes, what basically the big takeaway is Instagram shopping in all of its forms is the way of the future. It's already the way that lots of people are buying things. It's not going to go away anytime soon. You don't need to drop everything you're doing and open a Shopify site and open a Facebook page and get all this on the go. There are workarounds depending on where you are in your business. The app Instagram itself can support you and help you close those sales. It's just sometimes you just need to think a little bit more outside of the box if you don't have that traditional Instagram shop up and running and you're kind of set up that way. So yeah.
So if there are any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A or the chat, I suppose. I'll just go ahead and put up the Digital Service Squad information there. So for booking or getting in touch with us, that's how you can do that. Joanna asks if we'll be sending the recording. Yes, we will hopefully get this recorded, uploaded, and sent out either later today or probably tomorrow, later in the week. Just a question for me, Rochelle. How do you find most businesses currently to be using Instagram for their either retail business?
For retail, I'd say the big ones are most people have embraced e-commerce in some way, and so they have been able to open that Instagram shop. I mean, to be able to take products in your feed posts that people are seeing every day and in your stories and whatnot, like that really is just so great because people are seeing those products in action and they can imagine, like they look at the post, they see the person wearing the coat and they go, oh my goodness, that's me. I want that coat. oh, this is how I get it. It's tagged right here. That's so wonderful. But I would say that the sleeper hit is using that direct messaging. Direct messaging has, like, I remember when Instagram first introduced it, and I got a message from somebody, and I didn't even know. I was like, what is this? Like, I didn't even understand what I was looking at, or anything. Like, it took me a while to wrap my head around it, but it really has sort of taken off. I think people enjoy the more personal, almost like face-to-face kind of interaction that you get from direct messaging, because generally you're speaking with the owner of the business, or at least the manager, like someone who has the keys to the business's Instagram castle, right? So you know that you're getting quality information from these people, and you're getting your questions answered in real time. Like, if someone's really interested in a product, and they genuinely have questions before they buy it, they're really far more likely to send an Instagram message than to show up at your store and check it out, especially just because of where we are in the world right now, right? And not everything is open and all that sort of stuff. Like, people have gotten used to being able to do things from their phones and from their computers, and being able to direct message with businesses, I think, has been a huge step in the right direction. I think it's very exciting that they've made Reels and IGTV shoppable. I don't know how long they've had that feature. Like, as I say, that was news to me as I was prepping for this webinar, but it absolutely blew my mind, because up until this point, all that you could really do was utilize your captions, right? And just have those URLs posted in your captions to send people to. But to be able to have those products right in those videos, I think that could be a real game changer. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in trying that hack out. And funny that that you mentioned all the booking apps that are integrated with Instagram. I didn't hear Calendly on that list.
Let me check that out. Actually, it could just be that I didn't mention it. But I will see.
I did hear Acuity, and so Rochelle knows that we're looking at probably switching our booking app for Acuity as an option for us. But that's kind of another.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Calendly, so it looks like it's not one of the current partners.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But we've got a couple other questions. So how do I set up an automated direct message to thank new followers?
Why? Okay. Basically the answer is I haven't done that in a little while, so I can't remember offhand. So why don't I know you, Margaret. So I can send you an email with a tutorial on that, because it's quite simple. I just can't remember offhand, and I don't want to fumble around on the call doing it and trying to figure it out. But it's really, really easy. Yeah.
Sweet. Keep me CC'd on that, because I don't know that I've been able to do that as well. I would love to brush up on that tutorial.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Patrice asks, I'm using Shopify for selling, but it's not a Shopify site, but on my site as a shop. So when connecting a catalog, do I use my Shopify page or my shop link?
So I'm guessing that means that Patrice is using like Shopify Lite and has the buy button enabled. I'm thinking that's
right. That might make, that kind of sounds.
No worries, Margaret. So yes, basically what it's pulling is your product catalog. So it's wherever that lives. I would say when you're connecting your site, like when you're going through those steps and everything, click on the Shopify button. Like, again, like it's one of the top partners. So when you get to that connect your catalog part of setting up your shop, click on Shopify, and then put in your Shopify's like product page or where that's kind of listed. Because the thing is, like, you don't want to give people too many extra steps, and Instagram Shop isn't pulling over your whole website. It's just pulling up your available products that are in your catalog. So those will
Right.
only exist in that Shopify catalog page that you have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So it's just pulling in the product data, so that it can show those products. And what's great about what's great about the partner connections. So Shopify being a partner, I'm not sure about the light, but I know that I'm pretty sure it will be similar or the same as the regular Shopify, where you actually can do the setup of your shop, your Facebook shop, Facebook meaning your Instagram, because it's all the same, but you can do it from the Shopify backend. So you basically go to there's an area with integrations, marketing integrations, Facebook, and you're gonna just basically log in, pick the page, pick your catalog, and it's gonna connect pretty easily. Now, again, I have seen problems there where it'll create a new catalog and it can get a little messy, but compared to other setups, it is very easy and pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and like, I can't really stress enough, like, don't be discouraged. Like, if you have a Shopify site and it is live and it is working, like everything is working that way, and you have that Facebook business page and you have that Instagram business or creator account, then you will have a shop. Like there is no way that you can't get a great shop that's gonna work well for you. But it does require that front loading setup, right? Like it will require kind of like following all those prompts and yeah, potentially like having to sign into the back end of your Shopify and have your Instagram open at the same time and watching those sort of talk to each other that way. But it is absolutely worth it. And that tutorial that I have listed in the webinar, that's a really easy walkthrough for you. Like there's no way around the work that you have to do to get it set up. Like that is just how you need to do it. And there's no way that can be like, that those steps can be simplified. But once it is up and running, like it's worth its weight in gold, especially with a platform like Shopify that is so well integrated with these apps. Like it really is a great strategy. But yeah, it does really just mean kind of like having to follow the bouncing ball a little bit and figure out what you need to do to make that happen. The other thing I'd say is, like, remember that if you're working with Shopify in particular, they have incredible customer support. So if you are having any difficulty with that, like getting Shopify integrated with Facebook and Instagram is something that they do every single day. So if you're really struggling, or if something just isn't quite making sense, connect with them. One of the things that is important to mention, so you can get your shop set up in real time and everything, but there is a lag. Like you're not going to see all of your products transfer over initially, and you're not going to see your entire catalog just populate immediately. It takes a little bit of time for that to for all of that information to sync up and everything. But don't panic because that, like, just because you uploaded a product and you don't see it in your Instagram shop that second, it's on its way. If it's been a day and you're still not seeing it, then okay, that requires a little bit more investigation. But just remember that technology is fast, but sometimes it's not as fast as we want it to be. But it's likely happening, and everything is likely okay. Yeah.
Yes. And definitely, as I said, check out the Facebook, Selling on Facebook webinar that we have on the Small Business Enterprise Center YouTube channel, where we definitely go into that setup a little bit more in depth. Because I've done it quite a few times with several clients and run into all kinds of weird and fun things to troubleshoot, and a lot of it stems from just that connection between Instagram and Facebook, as well as making sure that the back end of your business suite is set up properly, has all the correct information in it. And on that note, we're right about at time. So we don't have any questions left. So thank you very much, Rochelle, for running us through that presentation. Very informative, very inspiring. And we will follow up with a link to the presentation and get this video up on YouTube for you to view at a later date as well. So thanks again for joining us, everyone. Be sure to connect with your digital service squad if you have any other questions, and especially if you want to learn about the digital transformation grant that is still available as of today, November 3rd, and the deadline to apply is November 30th. So there's still time to apply for that. So connect with us and we can tell you more and get you on the path to applying. So have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye for now.